Chris is going to get a lot set up so we can see your faces, and then we're going to take it from the top of the number with
Okay, you must have an incredible amount of energy, Anne, because you're not only are you acting, but you're also choreographing the whole. When are you sleeping?
Pretty much never.
How difficult is that to do double duty?
It's not that difficult for a personality that's kind of a little type A as far as very organized and knowing when to put which hat on at what time.
Okay.
But it definitely is, it keeps things moving at rehearsal, because when I'm not on stage working on my scenes, I'm watching the dances, which come right after my scenes. So it's definitely, I'm working the entire time.
Okay, now what character are you playing?
So I'm playing Lena Lamont.
Okay, and tell us about Lena.
Lena is a lovely woman, a silent film star with just nails down a chalkboard voice. So.
Very nice, very nice. And you know, this show is so beloved. I always like to ask the actors what it's like to be in a character that people are so familiar with.
That's the thing, is everybody knows the Jean Hagen version of Lena, you know, so you definitely want to pay tribute to that, as well as bringing in the edge to make it work in live theater. That's, I think, the biggest challenge.
That must be the trick, actually, is to bring you in and to bring her in at the same time.
Yes, absolutely, because you also want to give the audience something that they haven't seen before, because they don't want to see, you know,
Same old.
They could have popped in the DVD at that point, you know.
Exactly. You know, it's interesting when you talk about choreographing the show, you're thinking on so many different levels. You know, you're watching, you're observing. This is such a huge cast, so you must just be, the wheels must be turning at all times.
Pretty much. I mean, we're very lucky to have a cast that is, they're such hard workers, and they're definitely on top of everything you give them. So it's definitely been a blessing in that regard. So
Do you feel like you're making changes constantly, or do you ever feel like it gets to exactly where you want it to be?
pretty much, I'm having a good track record as far as what I see in my head, and then once it's taught and on the dancers' bodies, it kind of pretty much comes out to what I thought.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
Is this something that you've done before, where you're kind of a dual role, or do you do a lot of choreographing separately from acting?
Usually I do choreographing separately from acting. I did do here at the Norris Forum last year.
yeah.
I choreographed as well as playing one of the Gemini twins. So that wasn't as involved because there wasn't as much dance, or, you know, it wasn't as integral a role. So this definitely has been a challenge.
I was just going to ask you that. What's the most challenging part about being here in this theater?
Goodness, I guess, I don't know. I'm just having such fun with it.
Good.
And such a joy that, because I love both aspects of it so much. I love performing as well as being part of the creative team, that to marry the two together and being able to work in both aspects on the same show, it's just been such a joy.
And, you know, we've talked about the costumes in the show are just phenomenal as well.
Yes. Oh, they're beautiful.
They really are.
Absolutely. So as soon as you put it on, it's like, oh, there's my character.
Yeah.
Okay.
That always helps a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. Now, you guys have been rehearsing for 2 weeks,
Yes.
so we're getting there.
Yes, we are. We're actually right on schedule. We had the first week learning all the choreography, second week learning all the blocking for all the scenes and all the music, and we're pretty much ready to roll. We're starting to do run-throughs now, and we still have a week and a half before opening, so we're very, very happy with how things are going.
From an acting perspective, when a show opens, do you feel like the run is so quick, or can you really sort of enjoy each performance? I know it's hard.
It's definitely hard. You definitely do look at each performance as, oh my goodness, this is only the 6th time I'm doing this, you know.
I know.
We're very lucky this time around because they're doing 3 weekends
Exactly.
at the Norris for this one, so we're definitely excited to be able to have longer with it and enjoy it more.
Very good.
Good, excellent. A couple of things. Archer, for your first pullback, after we do the da 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 da, watch your arms. For some reason, your arms are different. And for everybody who didn't take the note before, just hands parallel to the floor. There's a lot of this. And make the head sharper. There must be like TV on the floor or something. Because there's a lot of like, oh yeah, my head's this way. And it's down here.
And Sam, what character will you be playing?
I will be playing Cosmo.
Okay, now let's talk about your character first.
Oh, please. Let's see. Cosmo is the comedic sidekick. He's Don's best friend. Been friends since they were little kids together, grew up together. Don craved the limelight, whereas Cosmo liked being in the background. more musically inclined as opposed to wanting to have that star role. So.
Okay. And, this is a show that everybody's so familiar with. We were talking with some of the other actors about bringing, your personality and your vision of the character in, and knowing that someone already has kind of an idea about it. So it's.
Oh, it's definitely tough, especially with a show like this. I mean,
Yes.
everyone knows Donald O'Connor. Everyone knows Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah.
It's
If they don't, there's something wrong with them, right?
exactly. So it's not so much recreating the role; it's just more recreating the show in itself. It's. I mean, everyone will come in either wanting to see Donald O'Connor or Gene Kelly or Debbie Reynolds. If they do, they can rent the movie.
Right.
There are many sites they can get that from. But if they want to see the actual performance of Singing in the Rain, and they want to see it's not necessarily a different take, but just a different feeling, because it's the same heart is there, the same, just I guess, oomph is there, but it's really a wonderful thing. So
Yeah. Do you have a favorite part of the show?
well, I know everyone's expecting me to say the backflip, but it's not. My favorite part actually is something I'm not even in. It's Miss Dinsmore and Lena Lamont doing the diction coach scene.
Oh, interesting.
It's the two of them. Their chemistry together is just ridiculously amazing. So.
When you love a show like this, you grow up loving other shows like this. What other shows did you grow up loving?
I guess what got me into musical theater was Les Miserables, which is completely night and day from Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain, yeah.
But to nerd out for a second, or
Yeah,
to theater
please.
nerd out, I guess what really got me into comedy and into musical comedy is The Court Jester with Danny Kaye.
Okay.
It's that same just sort of quick wit that he can do no wrong. Just any situation he gets in, he can get out of it with a laugh.
Now, how long have you been acting?
Since I was 8, so a long time.
So just a couple of years.
A little, slightly.
You're getting into it now, right?
Exactly. I'm finally finding my feet. So it's, yeah.
And this show, you've already been rehearsing for a couple of weeks, but everyone's saying it's really coming together.
It really is. We're already doing run-throughs, which is unheard of when
Amazing.
you've only been rehearsing for about a week or two. So it's great. The chemistry of the cast is just wonderful.
Yeah, and you're going to have a little bit extra time because you're going to have 10 shows this time, which is great because I think that every time you do a show, your character grows a little bit each performance.
It's very true. It's each time. It's once the opening night comes and you get all the jitters out.
Jitters, right.
And then once it starts to just gel together and you feel everyone else. I mean, rehearsals helps that, but it's
Right.
once you actually do the shows, the cohesiveness just really sets in.
I think for non-actors and for the audience that doesn't know this, when you do an opening performance of a show, do you feel like it's a blur or is it a long, like a drawn-out thing for you?
For me, it is what it is. I know that's a cop-out answer, but it's more of for me. It's not drawn out, and it's not so much a blur. It's just that nice.
Journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
Is the best way to put it. The opening night is really the night I get my pacing, and
Yes, exactly.
it's get the feel of the show. It's closing night for me is the blur. That's
Yeah.
the one that just goes by way too quickly.
It does. Yeah, absolutely does. And you're all getting along in the show and you're having fun together, and that makes a huge difference as well.
Exactly. If you don't have good chemistry off stage, it's hard to get good chemistry on stage.
Yeah, and if you're not having fun with Singing in the Rain, you do not know how to have fun. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Have you been dancing the whole time that you've been acting as well? Or-
No, I actually didn't start dancing until I was 18. So
Wow.
I started picking up tap like a fish to water. That was what I didn't know that was going to happen, but I was one of those actors who could fake it.
Wow,
So
okay.
I could just fake dancing and kind of wheedle my way through. But it's once I started taking dance classes, it wasn't until I was 18.
How difficult is it to learn the steps in the show?
This show is, especially since we're doing the original Gene Kelly,
Yeah.
Donald O'Connor choreography, that it's been tough. It's Wes. I'm jealous of him, the guy who plays Don,
Right.
because he is ridiculously talented, younger than me, prettier than me, and it's one of
We
the,
could beat him up after the show's over. Okay.
I mean, he's a great guy, and I love him. This is our first show together, our first time meeting, and it's when he came in, just his tap is so clean and just so precise, and it's something that it bumps my game up.
Right,
It's
I
one of
can
the
see
one
that.
of those like little friendly competitions of, oh, you can do that? Well, I can do that. Come on.
Anything you can do, I can do better, right?
Exactly. So it's one of those things that just keeps us on our toes. The choreography for this has just been that's been the main challenge for me. My thighs are still screaming from tapping 8 hours a day. So,
Well, that'll probably go on long after the show's over.
oh yeah.
Very good. We can't wait to see it. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been great being here.